After thorough testing, I recently changed my everyday OC spray to Palm Personal Defense Spray. It's nasty stuff, and I recommend it highly. All right, a couple of administrative things as we get going. Number one, do you guys think I should prop this other door open and get a little air flowing through here, or you guys like it? We're getting yeses and nos. Perfect. We'll leave it like it is. Okay, so there's that fun stuff. A couple other administrative things. First of all, Carrie, thank you so much for hosting us this weekend. Give her a hand. She really worked hard. I will say, Carrie, that we have plenty of classes where class hosts are like pulling teeth to try to figure out what we're doing, where we're going, and you've been incredible, and the weekend hasn't even started, so I'm excited about that. Thank you. And I'd also like to thank the Spokane Rifle Club for hosting us. This is kind of a big deal. Oh, it's okay, Rom. Just take a message and tell them I'll call them back. That is a good reminder. Please put your phone on silent mode, okay? Because I will mock you mercilessly when your phone goes off in the middle of this. Speaking of which, I'm going to take mine out of my pocket and hand it over to the CEO so that I don't do stupid things. And then I'm going to put my watch on shut up mode. Do not disturb. Go away. Okay. So, show of hands. Who knows my YouTube channel? Who here knows my YouTube channel? So about half or a little bit more. Who has no idea who the heck I am? Few people? Good? Okay. No, I'm totally down. This makes a lot of sense. So, and other folks were dragged here by significant others or something like that. Okay, so last administrative thing. Can you hear me in the back? Mark, can you hear me back there okay? Can you hear me back there okay? You guys doing good? Okay. We had like amplification set up here, and I was like, guys, I pastored a church for 15 years. I can bounce sound off the back wall. It's not really a big deal. So for those of you who don't know me, again, that's me. I'm John Correa, and I run a company called Active Self-Protection. And I'll give you just a tiny bit of backstory on it. But if you know me, it's because I run a big YouTube channel. And that YouTube channel, people send me real-life surveillance videos of armed robberies, carjackings, muggings, stabbings, home invasions, and defensive encounters of all kind. And I do after-action reviews on them. And every single day of the year, I talk about this is what happened to a real person. We're not talking theory. This is what really happened to somebody. And then after a while, once I had kind of analyzed a couple thousand of them, we started finding patterns. And once you start finding patterns, you can start to make action on those patterns. And if you don't, that's dumb. And I also got into the defensive firearms world. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a bit. So I am a firearms trainer. I'm a martial artist. I've been studying empty-handed skills for about 14 and a half years now. I've got a second-degree black belt in an art that's a derivative of Kempo, and then I recently started jiu-jitsu because I like people folding my clothes with me in them. So tonight we're talking about lessons learned from analyzing 25,000 gunfights. That number goes up every day. Stephanie, so I want to introduce you to some of my staff that's here as well. Number one is the CEO of Active Self-Protection. This is Stephanie Widener. Stephanie actually runs the company. I am just the idiot on YouTube, so give Steph a hand. Yes, Stephanie runs the day-to-day operations of the company. I was in the military, so for a long time we called her the XO. Who's my military folks, veterans in the house? Thank you for your service. Right, when I say XO, all the military folks go, and all the non-military folks go. And so after a while, I finally went, we have executive officers, the head executive officer in a civilian organization too. We just call him the chief executive officer. So she finally took that title. Not too long ago, I had to convince her a lot. Right next to her is Samuel Middlebrooks. Samuel is the owner of Red Hawk Firearms Training here in the great state of Washington in Yakima. And Samuel actually runs our instructor certification program. So here this year, we just started our first cohort certifying firearms instructors, but most firearms instructor certifications teach you how to shoot. We kind of figure there's enough of that out there in the world. My background's in education and in teaching, and so we actually teach instructors how to teach, which is not something that comes naturally to most people. Anybody here who's gone to college? You ever have a college professor who sucks at teaching? Because they don't hire them on teaching skill, they hire them on expertise in what they do. So in firearms instruction, guess what? Somebody can shoot, they go, you should be an instructor. That's different skills, man. So we try to teach those skills. All right, so that's Samuel as well. Neil, our CMO, is off somewhere. Lord knows. And back here is the executive producer, John Masek. Say hi, John. Hi. So if you wonder why the videos look great, John is the one who makes them look great every single day on Active Self-Protection Extra, my second channel. You should be subscribed to that too if you're part of ASP. He's the one who decides what goes up when and where. So he's really awesome at that. All right, let's get in here a little bit. If you want a copy of this presentation, you can blow Stephanie's phone up. So if you want to take notes, that's great. You want to take pictures? Fine. But if you want a copy of this, the easy way is send Steph an email. And remember, though, this weekend we're here all weekend teaching, like basically sun up to sundown. And so it might take her until Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday to get it back to you, okay? Or next week, so yeah, sometime at some point, right? So if you want that copy, pretty easy, steph@activecellprotection.com. You know the funny part? I'll tell you something. Here's something funny. We have a lot of ladies here. Here's the neat part. So Steph Curry has made this name a not a feminine name in our culture today. And so when people email Steph, it's amazing how differently they treat her when they think she's a man versus how they treat her in the firearms industry when they know she's a woman. When she's answering the email inbox for Active Self-Protection's Facebook page, and people think they're talking to me, it's amazing how differently they treat her than how when they know it's her. Am I wrong, Steph? And so just a reminder to all of us men, shame on us. Don't treat women differently because they're women. That's stupid. Can I agree with that? Yep. Okay, let's do it. All right, let's talk about this a little bit. A little bit about me. I founded Active Self-Protection in 2011. Company's been around now for 9 years. I can't believe that. So I started the company because for my first big boy job in the world as I was in the U.S. Navy, people go, oh, thank you for your service. I was like, dude, I made hot water the hard way in Uncle Sam's Canoe Club. It was a good job. I operated a nuclear reactor on an aircraft carrier. And then when I got out, I moved to Phoenix, Arizona in order to go to seminary. I became a Christian in 1998 while I was in college. And then said, you know what, I want to pastor a church. So I went to seminary and pastored a church in the Phoenix area for 15 years, until 2018, in fact. So I founded the company in 2011 because about 2006 I started training in firearms because I was running a video game store while I was going to seminary. And the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 came out, and managers in my company were getting hurt for them. They were having serious, because on the secondary market that Christmas, they were going for like $1,000 for an Xbox. And so managers were getting hurt for them, and one even killed. And I was like, nope, not me. So I did what any good Arizonan would do at that point. I went and took my CCW class because I needed it at the time. We don't anymore because we don't need permission slips from government to carry a gun. Get with the program, Washington. And then I bought the wrong gun. I loaded it with the wrong ammo. I put it in the wrong holster, and I carried it as a whoopee. It was my lucky rabbit's foot. It warded off danger. And I did that for a while, and at the same time, my son started encouraging me. He's like, Papa, come and take karate with me. Come and take karate with me. We were homeschooling, and that was his extracurricular activity, was karate. And so I was like, okay, buddy, when I get out of seminary. So I started taking karate with him. I was going to do it for 6 months. Not karate, it was Kempo at the time. And I was going to do it for 6 months just to get him off my back, and now 14 years later, here I still am. And so he grew up and moved off and went and did his own thing. Now he's married, lives in Virginia, and his wife's in the military, and he's not training anymore. But here I am still at it. What's up with that? So I started training because I wanted to get better. With the martial arts, I started realizing if I'm going to carry this gun, man, it's a liability to me. Every day that I take this gun out of its holster is a non-zero danger. Every time I put it on is a non-zero danger. So I better have a benefit to that risk. And so I started training. Well, if you start taking defensive firearms classes, guess what? They're expensive. You can spend a lot of money on class. You spend a lot of money on ammo. You spend a lot of money on range fees. You spend a lot of money on new equipment when you figure out the gun you bought doesn't work as well as you thought it would. And so I was like, I got to find a way to write this off. I know, I'll teach classes because teaching is my core competency. Not only did I pastor for 15 years, I taught college for 9 years, and I taught graduate school for 5. Part-time. So I started writing off classes by becoming an instructor. That's how the company started. So today I'm an NRA instructor in all their disciplines. I need to fix this. I'm not a Range Master Advanced instructor anymore. I'm one of the Plank Owner Master Firearms instructors certified by Range Master. I'm a 6-Hour Academy and a shootingperformance.com certified instructor. Basically, I am a training junkie. Most people will never get more than their 8-hour CCW class. Last year I got 328 hours in gun school as a student. I just like to train. It's a hobby. Anybody else like to train? Anybody else like to go to gun school? Yeah, right? So I like to go to gun school. Okay, I've got about 850 formal hours of instruction right now as a student, 13 years of martial arts, 14 years of martial arts study. I got a second degree black belt in UMass. I am a Force Science Institute certified force science analyst. In fact, I'm the first non-law enforcement officer or military person to be certified by the Force Science Institute in the last 25 years. I think I cracked the door open enough that now they're letting select non-sworn in, but they didn't let anybody before me, and I had to go a long way to convince Dr. Lewinsky to do that. Fantastic class helping law enforcement all over the country. 9 years teaching undergrads and graduate students. Now, there are about 1,700 videos on the YouTube channel at this point. So we post 8 a week now. So now, if you're a fan of the channel, you've been around a while, we've posted 7 a week for a long time. We started posting an 8th one every week. We made the badge cams into kind of almost their own thing, an evening thing now, once a week. So there's a bunch of them out there. So somebody's like, hey, John, do you have any videos on this thing? Yeah, I do. Go get your Googles on, like, you know. Trust me, there's too many of them out there. And to get there, we've analyzed somewhere between 20 to 25,000 defensive encounters at this point. I would say, Stephanie, how many messages do you get a day on the Facebook inbox?
Across all the platforms, emails and everything?
Yep.
Like couple hundred?
Couple hundred emails a day. She keeps those clear for us. This is why I hired her. Because I went, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. And it's a pretty overwhelming. She got overwhelmed enough that we hired her an assistant, Shannon, to take over that stuff that we're like, holy cow, this is incredible. So anyways, we get a couple hundred messages every single day with defensive encounters. So people send us stuff all the time. So we watch, minimum 100 a week, minimum. It gets a deluge. Right now, you could stop all violent crime in the world, and I still have 2 years worth of content to make. Seriously, that's how far behind we are, okay? So as people will send me a video and they're like, well, John, how come you haven't done that one yet? I'm working on it. It's going to be a minute, okay? So there's that.